Do you have a dream of owning land outside of the city and not being able to hear or maybe see your neighbors, but you know nothing about owning land in the country? Not to worry, I'm Meegan Dennie, a real estate agent in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And in this video, I'd like to give you some must-knows so maybe you can actually make this a reality. Although I work mostly in Toronto and the GTA, I do have experience with land and farms in the local surrounding areas. I had a client that wanted acreage, but also wanted easy access to the city. Their plan was to find a piece of land that they liked and build their dream home. We looked in a lot of different areas all throughout the GTA. So we were looking at homes that had, acreage on it that maybe needed to be torn down or renovated. And we were also looking at vacant lots. We found a property in rural Whitchurch, Stouffville that had an original home on it, but it was really close to the road. And it had this beautiful driving path that went up to the property, and it had this large flat land at the top where most of the acreage actually was. It had plenty of space to build a 10,000 square foot home if you wanted to. Because the land was raised on a hill and because of where the property was located, they would have actually been able to have this amazing view of Toronto CN Tower and skyline from the top level of their newly built home. Pretty amazing. So I spoke to the listing agent and she assured me that you could build on the raised flat land. Sounds perfect, right? Well, a good buyer agent should not just ever take the word of the listing agent, and thank God I didn't. We made an offer and we put in a due diligence condition in the offer. We also were working with a contractor slash architect. The land had a stream running through the middle of the property. And I don't know if you know this, but there is a lot of protected lands in the rural areas. It's not just the green belts, but a lot has to do with natural ponds or streams and water that may travel through the property and involve local regional conservation authorities. There's a lot of red tape around building on some of these properties, and you doing your due diligence is imperative. So in a consultation meeting with representation from the town of Whitchurch, Stouffville, and representatives from Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority, as well as myself and the architects, we learned that there was a floodplain zone, and we could not bypass that, even with a bridge, in order to build on the flat land at the top. So basically they explained that a fire truck could be too restricted in this floodplain, and emergency service vehicles would not actually be able to get up there if there was in fact an emergency. So unfortunately the deal fell through during the due diligence period, but fortunate for my clients, we did our due diligence and we realized that this wasn't for them. The other things to consider when purchasing a property in the country, well, your water could likely be well water, which will need to be tested and maintained regularly. Also, properties in the countries, they have septic systems that's located on the property that will also need to be maintained. It's not like a city sewer, for example. There also may be active farms surrounding you or animal farms around you, and they're working their crops in their land, and that can sort of have some smells permeating around you. Noise could also be a problem. Those farmers are up pretty early working the land. Thank you. We appreciate you. Okay, so up next, check out my video. Are you going to buy a property with a tenant in it? I'm Meegan Dennie. Please don't hesitate to call me for anything real estate related in Toronto or the GTA. Thanks.